welcome and thank you for being here. This is a practice that's going to look at this area called the solar plexus. And physiologically, we'll be looking at the action of the respiratory diaphragm in this area. And then energetically, in terms of the subtle body, we'll be looking at what is often called the solar plexus or navel center chakra, which is the energy center that sits at this region. And we'll look at how those two things interact. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. In a moment, I'm going to suggest you lie down, but I just want to give you a landmark. When I say, in a moment, place your hands onto the lowest of the front ribs, this is where I mean. So very uppermost belly, very lowermost rib cage, okay? Now, with that landmark in mind, I'm going to stay seated so you can hear me better, but I'd suggest, if you're comfortable to do so, lie down. You can have a yoga mat or you can just be on the floor. I would suggest some things that would be handy to have for this practice might be a blanket. I'm sitting on a cushion. There'll be a couple movements you might want it for, and definitely at one point we'll be sitting in a chair. So feel free to hit pause, grab your stuff. When you've got it, please bring yourself onto your back, your own preferred comfortable reclined position, but the one I usually use for breath work, pranayama, is called constructive rest, where the knees are bent and the feet stand flat to the floor. Arms for now wherever they're comfortable. The head could be elevated on this folded blanket if that's more comfortable for your neck. If it's comfortable for you to do so, please close your eyes. And if it's not, just relax your gaze. Please bring the palms of your hands to the lowest of the ribs on the front. And feel with the hands, what's the movement of breath like here? Your respiratory diaphragm connects to the entire inner rim of the lowest rib cage. So right now your hands are on the front of the diaphragm. And what you may feel is on the inhale, the diaphragm expands into your hands towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, it contracts back towards the spine. Now, can you imagine a ghost set of hands mirroring this position, but on your back body? So these hands are sitting on the backs of the low ribs. This is about kidney area and sitting on your kidneys, your adrenal glands. So picture a warm little pair of hands there. What's the movement of breath like in these hands? Now, for most of us, probably not everybody, it's easier to feel the breath in the front. So what I might suggest, you don't have to push, but just let the hands act like little sandbags, gently inhibiting the movement at the front, which may give you a little more sensation of movement at the back. And that movement may even spread around to the sides of the ribs. So ideally, we can sense movement in all directions. The diaphragm expands in all directions away from the spine as you inhale, and it contracts back from all directions back toward the spine as you exhale. peace with the diaphragm before we move on. I want you to picture it like a jellyfish. Jellyfish attached to the entire low rim of the rib cage. When it's at rest, between your breaths, the diaphragm is lightly domed up into the rib cage towards the heart. So the next time you breathe in, can you picture the jellyfish of the diaphragm doming down towards your feet? And as you exhale, it domes back up towards the throat. So on the in-breath, the diaphragm expands in all directions and drops down. And on the exhale, it contracts back toward the midline and domes up. Couple more breaths with that awareness. Great. Now you can let concentration on that go, although that's still how the breath is working, whether you're paying attention or not. But now I want you to drop your awareness from the center of the diaphragm down a little bit. So you're coming a little more into the region behind the belly button. So placement is a tricky thing with the subtle body. So anywhere from this solar plexus area down to the navel center might be where your attention rests. So let's say wherever your attention falls, that's the right spot. That's the spot of the solar plexus or navel center chakra. In Sanskrit, Manipura. So connect, wherever your mind has fallen, connect. Maybe there's a sense of a vibration here. Listen. If you're a visual person, maybe there's a color that arises. What's the feeling tone like here? This subtle energy center is associated with self-empowerment, with transformation, and the element here is fire. Okay, so now let's start to move. And we're going to begin by warming up the arms, shoulders, and upper back. So I'm getting back down onto my back with you. Make sure you don't have any furniture right overhead. You're going to want to be stretching your arms overhead if possible. And make sure whatever is under your head, it's not too high, or it'll impede the range of motion in your shoulders. Please have your arms close to your side. Try palms turned down and try walking the fingers a little bit more towards your feet. And now we're going to coordinate simple arm movement with the breath. On your next inhale, stretch both arms up for the ceiling and then up overhead. Please respect the range of motion you have in your shoulders today. Exhaling, float back up toward the ceiling and back down to your side. So your arms do not have to travel as far as mine do. Maybe they stop here. Keep going at your own pace. Just gradually and progressively warming the shoulders. Now, the next time you stretch the arms overhead, please stay. Now, even if you can touch your hands to the floor, lift them a little so that you don't. So you're actually working with the weight of the arms. And now I want you to notice if the front of the diaphragm has kind of popped up toward the ceiling and your mid-back is off the floor. Maybe it's not for you, but that's a pretty common tendency. So please recall those little sandbags of your hands resting on the low rib cage and see if that nuzzles your back diaphragm back into the floor. And when you do that, maybe the arms even grow a little longer. And now float the arms back down to your side. Turn the palms up, let the arms relax a little further away from you. And now let's warm up the legs and hips a little bit. So walk the feet together, bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop apart. This is bound angle, Baddha Konasana. We're going to do a very simple coordination of movement and breath here. So begin with a nice easy in-breath in this position. And as you exhale, draw the knees together and the feet turn at the same time. They turn to stand flat to the floor. As you inhale, soles come back together and the knees fall apart. And as you exhale, knees come together as the feet turn. That's it. Keep going. Let's make this next one the last one. So this time, when the knees come together, pause, just walk the feet a little ways apart. So now we're ready to move into reclined tree pose, Virkshasana. So this is where some of you might want a bolster. So what I mean is one knee is going to drop out into that bound angle pose, but just half of it, and it's going to stay a little longer. So at any point, if you feel stress in the hip, you feel stress in the knee, you would just take a bolster and provide a little landing pad so that there's less stress there. Very briefly, just so you can see the shape we're heading into, this is what we will wind up looking like, tree pose, but on the ground. But let's set that up together, okay? So if you're going to use a cushion, please have it off to the left. Begin with both knees bent, feet standing flat to the floor, arms relaxed. Please stretch the right leg straight out on the floor, push out into that foot. Drop the left knee out to the left, either just wherever it lands on the floor or use a cushion. The sole of the left foot comes close to or touching the inner right leg. Please bring your hands into, this is called Anjali Mudra, palms together at your heart. Keep reaching out long through the right leg as you slowly stretch the arms overhead. Now let the arms come to shoulder distance. Try palms facing one another, and once again, even if your thumbs could touch down, let them hover. Check in once again if the lower diaphragm is pushing up toward the ceiling. Bring it back a little bit. Feel the back ribs nuzzle into the floor. Feel the arms lengthen. And now float the hands back to the heart. Bring the left knee in. Bend the right knee. Stand the right foot next to the left. If you liked the bolster, you think you might use it on the other side, shift it over. And now stretch the left leg out on the floor. Drop the right knee out to the right, propped or not. Walk the right foot in close to or touching the inner left leg. Hands into Anjali Mudra. Keep reaching out through the left leg. Stretch both arms overhead. You can let the hands part. Keep them hovering if you can. Keep the diaphragm balanced if you can. And now float your hands hands back into your heart. Bring the right knee back. Bring the left knee back. And pause for a moment back here. Just feeling the effect of reclined tree, reclined Vrikshasana on your body. All right. Please roll to one side. Carefully press yourself up to seated. And we're actually going to head all the way up to standing. But give yourself a moment. Like scuba diving, we don't want to rise too fast, right? So get your equilibrium here. And when you feel ready, up we go. So you'll want to clear your blanket off of your mat. Bring yourself into mountain pose, Tadasana. Heels more or less under the sitting bones, balancing the weight of your body on your feet. Relaxing the arms and shoulders might help to roll the shoulders back a little bit. And then as the arms and shoulders relax heavy on the body, rise light into the crown of the head. Okay, so we're going to coordinate the arms and the breath again. This time a little more complicated because it's a contralateral movement, which in Vinaya Yoga, which is the primary style I study, style is probably not the right word, methodology, is thought to integrate right brain, left brain function, which is great. I think that you can start to do this with me unless if you're a very visual learner and you want to watch the first round and then join as you're ready, please do. Otherwise, let's just try this. Arms relaxed to your side. Start with the gaze level. After one round, we're going to add a little twist with the head. Again, twist is not the right word. A new addition with the head. On your inhale, raise your arms to shoulder height, and then the right arm keeps going all the way up. On the exhale, lower the arm. This arm comes to shoulder height, and then they both drop down together. Inhaling, both arms rise to shoulder height. Now the left arm keeps going. Exhaling, that arm comes down, and when they're both at shoulder height, they lower down. Let's keep going, and now we'll add the head. Arms rise to shoulder height. Right arm keeps going, look up. Right arm comes level to the shoulder, gaze comes to level, arms drop down, chin drops down. Inhaling, floating the arms and the head up, left arm keeps going. Pretty sure that's the other side. Exhaling, lower the arms, and as the arms lower, lower the head. Let's do once more to each side, no instruction. And then the next time your arms come down to your side, leave them there. Just float the head back up to neutral. Any little shakes and rolls of the hands. And let's prepare for Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. And again, I think we can set this up together. Please bring your hands to your hips. Step your feet out pretty wide, wider than your shoulders by a good bit. We'll start to the right-hand side. So turn the whole right leg out 90 degrees. So right toes point to the right. Kick the back toes in and the back heel out a little bit. Bend both your knees a little bit. Feel your feet. Feel the ankle, knee, and hip joints all in alignment to one another. Keep that. And then straighten the legs. Lift up just above the pubic bone and turn just the sternum forward towards this front edge of your mat. Stretch your arms out in a T shape, palms turned down. Keep reaching into this back arm, this left arm, as you swivel the gaze out over the right hand. We're going to do a couple repetitions to warm up first. So as you inhale, lunge into the front knee. And as you exhale, straighten the leg. Inhaling, this is warrior 2. Exhaling, release. This time we'll hold. Inhale, bend the front knee. Exhale, stay here. Bring your awareness to your diaphragm. Balance the whole rim of the diaphragm. Bring your attention to that warmth at the solar plexus area. Take a big breath right into that warmth, that gentle glow. And as you exhale, spread it out your limbs, out your arms, out your legs. Straighten the front knee, relax the arms. Turn the toes forward, bring your hands to your hips. Let's go to the second side. So please turn the left leg all the way out. Kick the back toes in, back heel out. Bend both knees, feel your feet. Feel your ankle, knee, and hip joints facing in the same direction. Maintain that, straighten the legs, lift up just above the pubic bone, turn the sternum forward without disturbing the joints of the lower body. Stretch the arms out. Keep reaching through the right arm as you swivel the gaze out over the left. A couple repetitions to begin. Inhaling, bend into the left knee. Exhaling, straighten the leg. Please follow your own pace. Let's make this one the hold. So inhaling, bending into this left knee. Exhaling, stay. Balance out your diaphragm, front to back. Bring your attention to the gentle glow right under the diaphragm. Take your next breath right into that glow. And on your exhale, spread it out. Good. Please release. Straighten that front knee. Relax your arms. Turn your toes forward. Step your feet back underneath you. Beautiful. Pause in mountain pose. Feel your breath. Feel your life force. All right. Since we did tree pose on the ground, and we have time for one more standing pose, it does seem appropriate that we do it standing. So I want to offer you, if balance is a challenge for you, be near to a wall. Another thing you could do is have your chair actually in front of you and just keep one or both sets of fingers on the chair. I'm just going to get it out of the way just because I want you to be able to see me. But please feel free to bring it out in front of you. I'm going to very briefly show you the shape so that you don't have to watch me while you do it unless you want to. Sometimes looking at moving things is a little distracting in a balance. So the way I'll be doing tree is this. Check out my active foot. It's out like a kickstand. Now those of you, balance is easy. You've done a lot of yoga before. If you want to bring the foot higher, even up above the knee, please feel free. Just make sure you keep your hips pretty level. Other than that, complete permission to have the foot as you wish. Mountain pose. Hands in Anjali Mudra. Now level your gaze, but soften your peripheral vision. So you're relaxing your drishti, your gazing point. Please shift your weight onto your right foot. Come up on the left toes. Turn the left knee out and form a kickstand, toes on the floor and heel resting in above the standing ankle. You may come higher with the foot if you wish. Draw the tailbone a little bit down. Lift up just above the pubic bone, up the whole front spine, and then stretch the arms overhead. Try palms facing one another. Try arms about shoulder distance apart. And then notice if the front diaphragm is pushing forward, and balance into the back diaphragm as well. Arms reach long from the sides of the ribs. Beautiful. Please bring your hands back to your heart. Turn the knee forward, set the foot down. Pause and feel. Let's try the second side. Bring the hands back into Anjali Mudra. Steady your drishti. Relax your peripheral vision. Shift your weight over onto your left leg. Come up on the right toes. Turn the knee out and either form a kickstand or go higher on the leg if that's where you're headed. Draw the tailbone slightly down. Lift just above the pubic bone, up. Reach the arms overhead. Relax the front diaphragm into the back body. And reach the arms from the sides of the ribs. And then please bring your hands back to your heart. Turn the knee forward, set the foot down. Pause in mountain pose. Feel the afterglow of tree. And we're just about to take a seat to close with just a little bit of mantra, a little bit of sound. But first, let's stretch out the back evenly and symmetrically in downward facing dog at the chair. So now turn your chair so that its seat is facing towards you. Bring your hands to either side of the seat. Can you see my ring and pinky finger kind of curled around the side? Step one foot back and then the other. And you're looking for a place where you form more or less an L shape. The hips, when they pull back, land over the heels. And the arms and torso make a line stretching for the chair. And feeling both sides of the spine telescoping out long. Please step one foot forward and then the other. Bring yourself up to standing. Now let's take a seat. Coming into seated mountain pose. So be a little bit away from the chair back. So you're not leaning back, you're upright as in standing mountain posture. Your feet are forward enough that they're actually providing some support to the weight of your body. Relax your hands into your thighs. So each chakra, each energy center, is thought to have a particular sound which activates the energy in that area. These are called seed syllables. And the seed syllable for the solar plexus chakra is Ram, R-A-M, and I'm working on my trilled R, Ram. Yours might be better than mine. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to combine that with nyasa, the act of placing our own hands on our own body in a sacred way, in a kind way, to direct energy, to direct healing. So what it will look like, the arms will begin here, and just watch one first. Ram. And the hands will wind up right back here. Let's try it together now. Wherever you are in your breath cycle, please inhale for Ram as you open the hands. Ram. Again. Ram. hold your attention in the space between your hands and the right behind the belly button. What's the vibration here now? If there were a color here, what might it be? And what's the feeling tone? And please relax your hands back into your lap. Our practice is complete, but I invite you to stay in that meditation as long as you'd like. If you're feeling an energetic revival in that area, feel free to sit with it and see what unfolds for you. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.